Hey Flosstube, this is Tara with Woodland Crafts, and yikes, time has slipped away from us. And honestly, it hasn't really slipped. There's a specific reason, which I will just share right off the bat, why I have not filmed any sooner than this, and it's very silly, but it is what it is. So basically, a couple weeks ago, I have a glass screen protector on my phone, which is what I film on, and I dropped my phone and there's a crack that goes over the lens. So it's not like the camera itself is cracked, but like the glass on top of it is. And basically it has come down to like, I should have replaced the glass screen protector, but since your girl is now 2 missed paychecks deep, it's just kind of like every time I think about like ordering it, I'm just like, it's a couple bucks I don't need to spend. Like it doesn't change my day-to-day use of the phone, but it does kind of make like a, I don't know if you can kind of, I don't know if it's, I don't even know if you'll notice it. Like looking at it now, I'm like, why didn't I just check sooner? But like sometimes in certain lights, there's kind of a, like a corona effect, like over here. So if you see something weird with the light, I decided it just doesn't matter and I need to film because I'm never going to remember all of this if we keep going. But like, if you see something, I'm not haunted by spirits. It's just the crack that's on top of the camera lens. And I thought about doing it like on the back, but I don't think I'm professional enough to like film with the back camera. Anyway, all this to say, this is why I have been so delayed. It's a very silly reason, but there it is. And yeah, spirits continue to be up and down in furlough life. But yeah, I find it hard to kind of like, I don't know, focus. So, oh well. I am happy to be back here with y'all. I have so much stuff to share because obviously I was home all of October, and so quite a few things got done and worked on. In some sense, not as much as I would have thought, but you know what? It's whatever. We're pleased for the stitchy time we have. So let's jump into it. I have a number of finishes and 2 FFOs, small ones, but they are FFOs. So first up, I will show you, this was my next focus piece for like my project kind of knockout, like let's get rid of the whips that are not my favorite anymore. And this is Candy Apple House by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. It's a long one, but this is her. I really am quite pleased with the final product. It's very sweet. I think this would look super cute on a board. This was a Stitch North start with my table, and we started a Sal called like the Houses of Sal Lane. She has she has 9 sets of houses for spring, autumn, and winter, and I don't know when, or maybe if I'm not following it closely, so maybe summer's out, I might be misspeaking, but this is from Houses of Pumpkin Lane, which is the fall set, and this is a conversion. So my table made a full Roxy Floss Co conversion because we were at Stitch North. So you can go to either like the Hathaway Stitchers, or I think Michaela of Cinematic Stitches is using the whole conversion. I did a mix, so I used the Roxy Floss Co for the main colors in the house. So like the brown, this like gold roof color, and the red are Roxy Floss, and everything else is the called for DMC, or like the recommended DMC in the pattern. So which it does provide the conversion, which is nice. But yeah, basically I kind of like, because this ultimately is a little bit punchier than the model, I would say. The called for threads are a little softer, so I kind of like that it's a little punched up, but it's very sweet. I like it a lot, and these little birds were very fun. So it was a little bit of a labor of love, but I'm very pleased with the finished result and looking forward to watching my friends work on theirs. So, oh yeah, and this was stitched, that was the threads, and this is stitched on a Roxy Floss fabric, 32 count Panettone. This was on their scrap bin, so that was kind of a nice find at Stitch North. And then next up, I'll use this, I guess, to hold it up. I remember, I think I filmed last, like right at the beginning of October, right? Yeah, October 2nd. So I was talking about Jack's stamp collection and how I really wanted to see if I could keep up with it through the month, and surprise of surprises, you're home all the time, I did in fact keep up, and it's done. It's done. So here it is in all its glory, Jack's stamp collection. I'll kind of move through these slowly. Yeah, so just the colors on this one continued to be such a joy to me. I really like stitching this cauldron. I really liked these ghosts, and the day 31 stamp was fantastic, and the little crystal ball. Ooh, I really liked it. The colors were so good. So this is all the called for DMC, but the fabric was not called for. So this was a fabric in stash, and it's a fiber on a whim in the color hydrangea, 32 count linen. And I just, this little brain in a jar cracked me up. So many good ones. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna finish it like I did its companion Santa stamp collection. So I'll just sew a fabric on the back and it'll hang on my poster hanger. So obviously couldn't hang it up for this Halloween because I did finish it on the day. I finished it on the 31st. That did take some like stitching ahead for sure. But it all worked out. So that was very exciting. Very big finish. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of cruising through these, but I'm sure it'll be an hour by the time we're done. Okay, so next up, I'll talk later, but toward the end, the last weekend in October, some friends and I went back to Cabin Cross Stitch and Crafts. I met up with Connie of Count Twice, Stitch Once again, and Sam, who does not have a floss tube, but the three of us met up and I bought a couple things, which I will feature the rest of that purchase later, but I did start and finish a Mill Hill. I started this on Halloween and finished it a couple days later. So this is Candy Bucket by Mill Hill. And I love, it's one of the ones with like the treasure. It's got like the little pumpkin charm on there, which is really cute. And I just thought it was sweet. I really like it. So this one is one of the ones that's designed to be a magnet, and I'm probably gonna keep it that way. I like it. And I don't have a Halloween tree, and I don't have like immediate aspirations of a Halloween tree. And I feel like, you know, a magnet can become an ornament, but you know, whatever. So yeah, it will probably become an ornament. And I did mess up a little bit. I always forget that a lot of Mill Hills call for 3 strands. So the bottom, the orange in the bottom main part of the bucket here is all 2 strands. And then I just changed it up and went for 3 strands all on the top. But I think it looks fine. I think it looks fine either way. I don't really think you could tell. I think like if I tell you that, you can look at it and maybe see the difference, but I don't think it's like a stark difference. So fear not, because yeah, I was most of the way through this pumpkin when I realized, and I was like, I'm not ripping out on perforated paper, get a grip. So that one needs to be FFO'd. And then speaking of FFOs, I have 2 of those for you next. So the first FFO I had to show you, I had a week where I was like, I'm home every day. I should do 1 FFO every single day. And truly that is so possible. But like I kind of mentioned at the beginning, I have enough motivation that I've still been continuing to make my lunches. I've been going on daily walks and I've been like getting workouts in, and that's the best I could do. And whatever else happens is what happens. You know what I mean? So that plan kind of fell through. I had 2 like very low hanging fruit FFOs, but hey, that's 2 FFOs that are in journals now. So this is a journal finish I did of Strawberry Mini Cat, which is by Stitching Fairy Crafts. I started this project as kind of a combo. At my first StitchCon ever, Marjorie was doing, of Marjorie Made was doing Strawberry Moon Sal, and so this had strawberries in it. And then while we were there, there was actually, I believe, some kind of like Black Cat Saturday Sal or something, but I wrote a few thoughts. You don't need to read my bad handwriting. Just about my first StitchCon. And I actually scooped one of my friend's wedding invitations. I like these flowers a lot, so I cut these off her wedding invitation. But they're so beautiful. So that is in there now, which is very exciting. And I have plenty more space to fill up in this, so I need to just like keep sticking smalls in here. And then secondly, this I finished so terribly long ago, but my other finish was a little hoop finish of Hidden Ghost by Sunny Lofstrom, and this is, or sorry, Hidden Skeleton. It is a ghost, it's a hidden skeleton. And this was in a Just Cross Stitch magazine in either 2023 or 2022. The funny part about this, so I finished it in the back, and I was gonna put a 2024 charm on here because I have a number of those, but then I look back at my notes and I realized I finished this in 2023. How embarrassing. It's been sitting in my roll for that long. So you can kind of tell if you look closely at the texture, but I'll put up a photo. So there's glow in the dark thread basically that reveals a hidden skeleton within this ghost. And also annoyingly, I didn't really pay attention. I just grabbed like a black Aida that I wanted to work on at the time, but I didn't pay attention to the fact that, you know, this was supposed to be more lined up. So this is a 5-inch hoop, but a 4-inch hoop would have cut it off. So like basically I needed like a 4.5-inch hoop for these effects to like fully work and look like they were disappearing into the edges of the hoop, but whatever. And I wrapped it in some glow in the dark pumpkin ribbon that I had, and I'm quite pleased. So this is up on the mantle now that I get a mantle. I shared in my last video my being able to use our TV is off the mantle, and so now I can have a whole Halloween spread. So we have another Halloween FFO. Very exciting. So that is all of my finishes and FFOs since we've last chatted like 5 weeks ago. I don't have any new starts because the only thing was the start and finish of Candy Bucket. Everything else I've just been working on. So basically I have a good number of whips, and that is because you know, I wanted to work on Halloween whips, which make up a pretty large proportion of the whips I have remaining. And also coming into November, my plan is sort of that for my plans for November, let's go ahead and spoil it, is I'm hoping to do kind of a whip go catch up month, and that has been going well so far. So a lot of these, like I said, were either like whip go calls from my friends, or I think all of these are whip go calls, but some of them are also Halloween, which is convenient. So first up, go ahead and show the picture, is Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I freaking love this one, but it is completely full coverage at the top. So quite a few stitches in there. And this was called in October by Connie, Count Twice, Stitch Once. And she was merciful, and I think she only called it for like 400 something stitches. So I did about 400. I'm not really exceeding a lot, but here's where it was, and here's where it is now. I worked exclusively on this house at the top because I figured, you know, while I have motivation, might as well, like I center started, but I wanted to work my way up to the top to get this like full coverage done. So we are enjoying that. And this is stitched on a 32 count linen, but this is from Jackson Fabric Arts, and this is the hemp linen, which I don't know if she sells anymore, but I love it, and this is in the color Soul. But yeah, she sells on Etsy. So here's where that is at, and I don't know why I'm keeping it in the hoop. I guess because like I kind of want to stitch on it, but there's other, like I said, in terms of whip go catch up, I am caught up on this one, so it may not be out for much longer. And then next up, all the vinyl's reflecting, I worked some on Autumn Night Alphabet by Owl Forest Embroidery, and this was a whip go call by Elizabeth of Savory Sewing in September, and she called this for 900 stitches, and I've only done like 200. So this will continue to get worked on this month, so it's staying in its hoop situation. But here is where it was. And here's where it is now. So basically, yeah, I started to get into some of this pattern on the hill for Baba Yaga's hut there. It's so cool. And I am getting reacquainted with Saga, which is a little bit, you know, it's kind of like a mental barrier and like another barrier. I was going to bring this when we went to cabin cross stitch because I was like, oh, that would be a great one. But now it's like, it's on a different tablet because of Saga. And then you just feel like a crazy person rolling around with 2 tablets. But anyway, so this is where, yep, that one is at. And it will continue to get some work this month. And then next up, I know this one I kind of went rogue and I was like, I got to put some more stitches in because I think myself and everyone else is excited to see how this looks. So it doesn't have a ton of progress, but it has some. So this next whip is Quaker Halloween by Aury TM. Oh yeah, and I didn't say, sorry, Autumn Night Alphabet is on a 36 count fiber on a whim and cobblestone, I believe. I can confirm if you need me to, but this is Quaker Halloween by Aury TM. I, in my last video, gave you the whole song and dance and pitch about my color scheme for this. And so now I have a bit of a reveal. I think I am pleased with it. I am pleased. We are gonna go ahead. But yeah, so here's where it was. All 100 invisible stitches. And then here's where it is now. So I kind of worked more on this center Quaker, and then I wanted to get some black in to see how we liked it. So I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. I think there's enough stitches in the sky that it's gonna give, you're gonna know something's there. And sorry, there's a lot of sun coming this way right now. Maybe if I put it this way. But yeah, I am liking it. I'm liking it. I think it's gonna work. Think it's gonna work. So I think my plan now, just like movement wise, is I'll probably continue to finish this Quaker and then probably move towards the Halloween letters so I could see what the orange looks like as well. And this is on a 28 count even weave, I believe, from Crafty Gurumi, and they're help Advent box last year. Okay, there we go. The sun went away for a second, but yeah, so still not a ton of progress. Sorry, but nobody called it on whip go, so it's hard. Like, I'm not getting many, like, I'm stitching consistently, but I feel like compared to last year, I just like could really focus in and get, you know, 600, 800 stitches in a day, and it's just not really happening. Like, the 300 stitches a day in the morning is about all I'm good for. But that's okay. So next up, this was a call from my sister in, August, maybe? June? I don't know, a while back. But my sister called for me to work on my stamped cross stitch of my cat. So I call this piece Fozzie and Fozzie because it's the 2 Fozzies together. And this was my leap year start project. So I started this, leap year 2024. Hypothetically, it'll be done by next leap year, but we're gonna have to really turn this ship around if we want that. Because I guess as of February this year, it should be 25, it should have been 25% done. And then in February coming up, it should be 50% done. And no, ma'am. But here's where it was. And it's not gonna look that different, I'll tell you. Because again, my sister, I think, called it for like 300 or 400, so it just really wasn't that much, but that's okay. But here it is now. I did finish this kind of area and put a few stitches in, and then I think honestly, like this thread is soft and it's not bad, but it does tend to kind of like shred up on me pretty bad in this Aida. So I think like there's a lot of confetti in other places, and so I just kind of tackled this huge big patch, thinking that would go faster, but it just kind of, I'm bored of this blob, which is why I came over here and did this little blob. But I don't know, I might have to like move on in the interest, but I have made progress because this number, this 20, was totally visible last time you saw it, so we're getting down there. But yeah, I might move on and work some on, I feel like I want to save my cat for last, because I'll be most excited, you know, once I get to that point, like I'll have to finish him. But yeah, to work on the rest of it. And I don't know, but part of me is like, I want to take out these big chunks while I can, but who knows? Maybe I should work on confetti until I'm sick of confetti, and then I'll be grateful for the blob. But it did come back out. It did come back out. And that's kind of nice from a, I do loosely aspire to touch all of my whips every single year, especially because, like, you know, most I've had is like 25-ish. Like, I've always been under 30. So it's just like, there's no reason. There's no reason. And this guy had not been touched since October of 2024. So more than a year between the last time I stitched on it. Yikes. Big yikes. So fingers crossed we find some time for that in the next year. Next up is Armchair Ornithologist by Lindy Stitches. You have seen this one a couple times this year, so here's Armchair Ornithologist. And this was called earlier in the year, I think, and then also Julia, my friend Julia, called it in, again, I think like June or something like that. And she called it for 600 stitches, so I finally put my Whip Go 600 stitches in. And so this is where it was before. And here's where it is now. So yeah, for these 600 stitches, basically I put these tree branches in so we kind of know where the top edge is. I put a little bit in, yeah, this shelf, and I put a little bit of this jar in, so like this, or this vase, whatever, and now that color is complete. And then I started filling in the white on the roof. And yeah, this is like 60% done now, which is kind of crazy. And Montana friend joked at me that she was like, I don't really know if she's an ornithologist because I only see a snail, no birds, but I'm trying to hold on to the birds as long as I can. And if you're maybe newer around here and you're unfamiliar with this piece, this was a culminating piece following the release of Lindy Stitch's Bird Crush Club. So these were 12 birds released released every month. And obviously I loved them. And so this piece has all 12 birds in it. And I did recolor the girl here to match my coloring a little bit more, and a sweater that I own. I picked a silk. So this is going really well. This is on a 32 count Fox and Rabbit in ballet slippers. And she's going great. And this was kind of a sneaky one. I didn't think, like, obviously I wanted to get progress on everything this year, but I didn't really expect this one to like kind of sneak ahead and become like, oh, it's like 60% done, when I think it was like 30% done at the beginning of the year. So that's been a pleasant surprise. And then lastly, what I worked on yesterday and what I probably will work on after this is Purple Transport, also by Lindy Stitches. So here's where it is. And this is another like friend start. I started this piece with Amity of Boomerang Stitches and the Hathaway Stitchers on YouTube. Yeah, so we did our own conversion on this and our own fabric. And it's probably, here's where it was. I only put 100 stitches in yesterday. I'm sorry. I just, again, the fill, maybe I need to just switch. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but again, fill is not really calling to me, and this is a lot of fill. So here's where it is. I think I did one row of purple, and then I just was like, let me just fill in the grass, because I think I have like 300 stitches of grass. But I do owe this like 1,500 stitches from Whip-Go calls, because Miriam of Marumi Designs called this for October for 700 stitches. And then for November, we haven't gotten to the plans part where I told you who got called, but for November, my partner Veselin got called and he picked this, and it is going to get 800 stitches for him. So Now it only needs 1,400 stitches since I put in the 100 yesterday, but so this needs to be in the rotation, but the fill is not really calling to me right now. I don't know, maybe I could outline the tail or something, like, I don't know. But this is stitched on 40 count Mother's Milk by Lap and Loops, my first Lap and Loops that I stitched on, and I am loving it. So again, this is kind of a like partial Roxy Floss conversion. The 3 colors that are on here are Roxy Floss, but this is DMC, and the rest of it will be the, I think it's called for DMC as well. Like the pattern itself is a mix of like a couple of specialties and some DMC. So like, that's not my doing. That's the DMC are called for. But yeah, that is that. So I have a number of non-cross stitch finishes as well. So I think I'm actually gonna go through those really quick because you've pretty much heard my plans, and then we'll do some haul and some reading, watching, playing, because I got very much into the spooky season. So last time I showed the parts of this, but I have been working on my amigurumi a lot, and it has brought me a lot of joy. So I did fully complete Bing Bong from the video game Peak. He is so hilarious. He's got his little propeller hat and his little crazy arms and his crazy legs and crazy eyes. He looks like a goat. So Bing Bong is done. He came out a little bit bigger than I expected. I think I would go down a crochet hook size for the next one. So my ambitions for this are to make 2 more. So one that like stays with me, and then one for Michaela Cinematic Stitches, because she's been playing Peak with me, and one for my brother. So I have 2 more of these to make, but in the meantime, I pivoted and decided I wanted to make one of the scouts, which is what you play as in the game Peak. So the first one I made was Michaela's Scout. Look at it. I can't. So the problem is like Bing Bong is like a toy that they hold. So as you can see, I did go down a hook size for the Scout because I was displeased with, you know, this, like the size of him. So Michaela, I need to make another one for Michaela and hopefully take it a hook size down, and that will make him a little bit more proportional to the Scout. But Michaela plays as the purple Scout, and I gave her her little sash with her little badges. This technique has you do French knots on this little strip of like yarn, and they could use some work. I'm not gonna lie to you, some came out better than others, but you know what? It gives that DIY look. The construction of this was quite interesting and fun. Like you started with the boots and you came up and then had to join them. So that was kind of a different technique, and same with the shorts. And then also in the construction, you make the legs, and like the legs and the body, the yellow shirt here are all one continuous piece. And the shorts are made entirely separately, and then you pull them on. So he's kind of like without bottoms. He's like Winnie the Pooh in it when you first make him. And then he's got his little hat, and I liked this technique of the whites around the safety eyes. I thought that was really cute. And yeah, just very interesting like construction of this. I haven't done a whole lot of like humanoid looking figures, so I don't know how common it is, but it's definitely different than a lot of the more round shapes I've made and like Woobles kits and things like that. So that was a lot of fun, which is good because I got 2 more to do. So it did take me longer than I planned, but like I said, I just don't really seem to have like a super long crafting attention span right now, but we do what we can. So here's Michaela's little Scout, and hopefully it will get sent off to her in the near future with a Bing Bong. And then lastly, because I wanted these 3 together, because so like technically, oh no, hold on, we're missing a piece. So my 3rd crochet piece to show you here is a Woobles kit that my partner bought for me. And like I said, as much as I talk about how I'm like, do I need these? No, they're so stinking cute. So he got this for me without prompting, and I really wanted to get this done so it could have a picture with the Scout and with Bing Bong, because there are capybaras in Peak as well. So here he is, the man himself. This is Hugh. This is a Woobles kit, and he's bigger than other Woobles. He is considered like extra squeezy. He's a larger size. I had some trouble like stuffing him uniformly. I don't know why this side is like poking out more. I fussed with it for a long time, but he is darling, and he has his little accessory, the little yuzu fruit. And I really actually can't. He's so cute. Oh no. The yuzu stays pretty well on his head when you get it settled right, but I'm holding him so he's in motion. But anyway, this is Hugh and his fruit, and I really liked working with the extra squeezy yarn, the bigger yarn. He was really cute. And there's honestly so much left. I feel like I could squeeze out another one of him. So maybe he needs a friend. But yeah, I did that in an evening. He was faster than other Woobles as well, I feel like, because the feet are made directly on his body, as opposed to like making a separate component and then stitching it on like the ears. But he's so cute. And so yeah, I have a little picture of like him and Bing Bong, and I love them. So I've just needed soft, squishy friends. Apparently we've just been doing the amigurumi over here. So that's been fun. And then lastly, for non-cross stitch whips, I did get back out my Over the Garden Wall scarf by Katharina Kuntz, and I will show off here. This was also a purchase from Cabin Cross Stitch. They have little needle stoppers, and they had these cute little tulips, and they were actually rated for like size 0 needles, because I bought a pack when Joann's was closing, but they were all rated for much bigger needles, so they're not really helpful. So I like having this just as like a little extra security, in particular because I tend to store this in my drawstring bag like in this direction. And so, I mean, you know, the weight does work against you, but I feel like, you know, if you push up on the bag, things can happen, whatever. I'm happy to have this. But okay, without further ado. So here's where the scarf is at now. And I have my little marker here. Oh good, my cat's gonna use the litter box. I apologize. I have my little marker from when you've last seen it. So I have all of Enoch now. I have finished page 2 of 8. And then we have this skeleton here with a little corn. And this is our potatoes and molasses plate. This is just the potatoes. There's gonna be like a drop of molasses in the molasses bottle on top of it. But so we are, I believe, I'm trying to like call it when I finish the episodes, because this is sort of chunked out by episodes of the show. So when I finish the next 2 rows, which will be the top of Enoch's head, I will be 100% complete with episode 2. Because potatoes and molasses is in episode 3. So we carry on, and I will show you the back of it. This is a double knitted scarf. And this was another one that I was worried about the colors, but I really think they've come together. I think, you know, certainly they could be more high contrast. I think the fact that they're both like lightly mottled makes it a little muddy, but I'm pleased. I'm pleased. It's very soft, very squishy, and I will be super happy to wear this in another 3 years. No, I have kind of gone back to my pattern of like trying to get like 4 stitches or 4 rows a day on this loosely. Anyway, I don't know. It seems like I've been having better success with like doing 300 stitches on cross stitch in the morning and then transitioning, you know, maybe doing a little bit of this and then maybe doing some crochet in the afternoon. But you know, while also trying to like do other things. So that has been very fun. And these yarns are from Oink Pigments. If you want more info, just let me know. I'm happy to to share. I just don't remember off the top of my head, but I know that's where I ordered them from. So yeah, that is all that. And so that is all the like projects I've touched since we've last chatted. And now I have a little bit of haul to share with you. So kind of the remaining stuff from the cabin cross stitch visit. I didn't get a ton, and I went in with kind of a idea of what I wanted to get, and so we stuck to that. So I did get the candy bucket Mill Hill kit, and I got one more Mill Hill kit because I let this pass me by last time, but then Michaela got it and I was like, ooh, I should have gotten it too. So I did get the UFO kit. This Autumn Harvest series is so cute. And it's got the little moon charm and glow in the dark beads. So I think that's very cute. So I did get this, and then I got the needle stoppers. And then the other thing I got is, so the first time I went to the store, I saw the, they have a sulky display, and I have stitched with sulky on one of my round robin projects, and I did like it, but but that was like a sulky blendable. I've never used like the main colors. So before I went, decided on a project that I might want to kit up in sulky, and I chose Boomerang Stitches Stitchy Bug. It doesn't have that many colors, and I just thought it would be a fun one and it's special to me, and so I wanted to kit it up in sulky. So here's my sulky palette. The conversion seems really good. I kind of was looking on the website. The only one that was like a little iffy for me is this is the substitute for $37.99, which if you're a weirdo like me who has way too many DMC numbers floating around in your head, that is like a deep dark gray, one of Amity's favorite colors to stitch with at least. And this is definitely more brown, but there wasn't really like, this was the called for alternative on like the converter I was using, and there really wasn't a better option, at least not in the stock that was available in the store. So we are going to go for this. I do think they all work together. It's just like, obviously when you compare it to the original, you're like, well, this isn't gray, but I think it will work. I think it will work. So I'm not 100% sure when I'm starting this. I guess we'll see how like Whip Go Catch Up works. But yeah, I think that was everything from there. I unfortunately, it's been like so long at this point that I like truly don't remember. And then I did get a little thread ring and jewelry from Connie. She had some extras from a retreat she had been to recently, so she shared. And it was really nice because this time there was not a class going on, so we were able to sit and stitch for a while. So I did that day's like Jack stamp collection while we were there, which was really fun. And we got to sit with Susan and Diane, and they were so nice and just a great company to be around. So I am thankful to them and their hospitality as we were just yapping up a storm in there. It's not a very big shop, but they were very gracious hosts, and we had a really nice time. So that was super fun. And we also went across the street. I had a goal as well. It's very convenient. In the same parking lot as Cabin Cross Stitch, there is Mountain Quilts, which if you happen to be, a Southeastern resident who is looking to go to Cabin Cross Stitch, I honestly recommend putting into Google Maps Mountain Quilts, because it is in the same parking lot, and Google still does not have Cabin Cross Stitch correctly placed. It's like a quarter mile down the road that it takes you, but if you put in the quilt shop, it will take you to the right place. So I just put in my GPS to go to Mountain Quilts. But so I had brought two projects to try to find fabric to soft finish, to do one of those finishes with fabric where you can see the fabric on the front. I've done the kind where you do it on the back, but not on the front. And I was inspired again by Michaela of Cinematic Stitches. She just finished her Witchy Stitcher chopping maul and did a quilt like front, and I was so inspired because I was like, that's such a cool idea for these, for like seasonal things that are kind of bigger, that maybe you don't want to like pay for a frame, but also you want them out. And I think doing a soft finish also, is beneficial for storing and the whole thing. So if you don't recall, I recently finished this Life Potion chart by Forbidden Fiber Co. And so what I ended up picking, and maybe like I'll end up putting a photo in if I can't hold this up well enough to be helpful, but so we picked these two fabrics. So the idea being that like this will be an inner lining and this will be the bigger border. So it's almost like a mat, like two mats within a frame basically. And then for the binding, I chose this fabric, which is part of this set. So it, like these two are from the same line, so the colors should go together. And I did have to buy a ton of this by comparison because I sort of want the lines, since I just did this bag, I like how the lines are this direction. And so thankfully the Quilt Genius is there because I don't know nothing about nothing when it comes to estimating like fabric yardage. So one of the employees there did the math for me, and turns out you need 1 billion yards of this stuff if you want the stripes to go that way, because that's not the way they're printed on the pattern. So that's going to be a problem for me to figure out another time, how to like cut out binding. I might need to like source some help from phone a friend, but that was very exciting. I also brought Arctic animals and I took a bunch of photos, but nothing really like rang true that I loved it and wanted it. So I'm going to let that sit for now. So that was those two things. And then two other little things I also almost forgot, because it's been so long. I think like the weekend after I filmed in October, my friend and I, Chelsea, went to our local Embroiderers Guild of America meeting. They have like an annual stitch and stash type situation where like members sell, bring stuff and they sell it for, a donation. So or like they sell it and proceeds go to the organization. So we went through and, there was a lot of like older stuff there, but I did find a couple things I thought were cute. So I got these little buttons, these little kind of like aqua shiny ones. And then I also got these, which I thought were just gorgeous. They're super cute. And then I got two little patterns. I got this ancient Egyptian wishes chart that apparently means life, prosperity, and health. I don't know, I just thought it was cute, little square. Maybe like a fun small for an exchange perhaps. And then this was the real find. Prepare yourself. I got Peanut Pals, Nutty Ladies. So this is a book with a bunch of series of little peanut ladies doing tasks, doing all kinds of things. Here's the knitting, or the needle nut. That would be us, right? Little needle nuts. They crack me up. Bowling. And the foreword in this is like so cute, where it's like, come up with whatever, like go crazy. You can put it on anything. Put a tennis nut on tennis shorts, a jogging nut on a warm-up jacket, a golf nut on a sweater, a cooking nut on an apron. Perk up a trash can or a letterbox by covering it with a fabric on which you have stitched any nut that suits your fancy. I mean, so I thought these were darling. So that was a fun find. And then the last piece of haul I have for you is Jingle Ball. Jingle Ball is coming up. So that's the other thing I need to remember for November, is that my Jingle Ball class has to get done. So I agonized over the classes a fair bit, because there's a lot I like, but then I sort of was like, I sort of get it, but I like, do I need the whole kit? I'm not sure. And I think this year more so than last year, like the Liz Matthews class, the kit like didn't come with the jar, and the Robbins Pickens wreath class that I really like doesn't come with the wreath if you get the kit. So it was like, well, so I might still be adding on some PDF classes later, but I did commit to one kitted class because I just love it. I love to do it. So I did get Hands on Designs Stand Up for Santa. I have never done a stand up before. And he just is too darling. And now, like I said, that I have a mantle, it'll be great. So we got he stitched on a 20 count over 2. So we're stitching it with pearl cotton, which I thought was really fun. And obviously haven't started, but so he is also a goal to get done this month. So I'll be ready for finishing at Jingle Ball. So let me know if you guys got your hands on any kits or any classes that you're taking at Jingle Ball. It was really hard because so many of them are so cute, but that was the final decision for me. So with that, that is kind of all of the crafty type updates I have for you. I will do a little quick reading, watching, playing. I have continued to play Peak, as I've mentioned, as I am, you know, deep in Peak. And have played the new update, the Roots update. Crazy. Died first run for sure. But then the other game I just finished is South of Midnight, and the story on this one is so incredible. It's one of those, like, as soon as I finished it, I wished that I could delete it from my memory and restart and like experience it for the first time again. It is so good. There are some deeply troubling traumas that happen in this, but it is just done like so beautifully, and the art of it and the like music. I've been listening to the soundtrack since I finished. It's so good. And I think the chief complaint I've seen about this game is that like the combat is kind of boring. But if you're not a combat person, but you are a person who like has a machine that can run this game, I'm not sure what consoles it's available on, but there is like a, you know, turn the difficulty down to like basically just enjoy the story. And honestly, I feel like this game is worth like watching the story on, even if you don't like combat. And then as someone who is like newer into trying a lot of these types of video games, like the combat wasn't particularly boring to me because it's one of the more combat heavy games I've ever played. But I could see where like it is, I could see where maybe if you had done this a million times in a million other games that maybe it would be kind of boring. But for me, it was a sufficient challenge to play on like the normal difficulty. And then I actually have read a book. I did read The Long Walk by Stephen King. And this is my first Stephen King, which I feel like is kind of a weird one, but in August or whatever, when the trailer for the Long Walk movie was out, I don't know why, it just really gripped me. I just wanted to know. It was just one of those ones that like, I watched the trailer and I was like, I want to read that book. I want to know what's going on here. It kind of gives like Hunger Games vibes in a way, if you haven't seen the movie trailer or aren't familiar with the book, that it's like 100 young boys. I don't think any of them are older than like 16, 17. Sign up to be on this like challenge that happens once a year, and they start walking and they have to keep a consistent pace, and if they fail to keep pace, they are given a warning, and on your fourth warning you are shot. And they keep walking until one boy is left, and he wins the prize of like all the money and anything he wants for the rest of his life. So that's kind of the setup. What is funny though, and what really troubled me, and I would love discourse in the comments, especially if you're someone that wears like some kind of wearable, and so you know what your walking speed is. In the book, it says they're walking at 4 miles an hour. That's a 15-minute mile. And compared to, like, as I was reading it, like, of course I have like the visual of the like trailer for the movie, and I was like, the speed there, and like I've been doing my daily walks, like I said, and you know, I'm newer to that, but I still feel like I was out there like trying to hustle. I could not get under like a 17-minute walk. Like mile, sorry, a 17 minutes per mile speed. So in the movie, I watched the trailer back because I was like, there's no way what they're depicting is a 15-minute mile. So I did like the book. I didn't love it. I think I wanted more like details, but I did enjoy the book, and it's definitely more of kind of like a long impending sense of dread as opposed to like, I don't know, acute scary things, I guess. So that was interesting, and I may try to like seek out the movie at some point. But But then I just have been, I don't know, I feel like I've decided I'm in my horror era this year. And I have been dipping my toes into some classics that I have never seen. So I watched Silence of the Lambs for the first time ever. Really enjoyed that. And then on Halloween, we watched the 1979 Alien. Sensational. I was so jazzed the whole time by like the practical effects and props, and like, I don't know, the whole time I just was like, somebody made that. Somebody made that. It looks so good. It's so shocking. I feel like how good a movie from like 1979 holds up in modern time versus like an early aughts like CGI holds up. Like, I feel like that looks way worse and like way more aged than these like practical effects do, which just, you know, gives you something to think about. And I had a question, like, and it came to me as well as while I was watching it, when they're on like the alien planet or whatever, and there's like the big guy in the chair, and I was like, can you imagine like being an actor and like showing up to work and like that's where you are, like you're on a set that looks like that? Like, how, I was like, do you think acting has just gotten worse? Because how do you, like, I just can't imagine. I mean, obviously I don't have these skills of an actor, but I'm just like, the way it must feel to show up to a set that looks like a freaking alien planet versus showing up to a green room and imagining everything. It just begged the question for me. I don't know. And then I also, because after we finished the long walk, I was hungry for some more Stephen King vibes as well. So my partner recommended The Outsider on HBO. It was like a limited series show in like 2020 or 2021. I had never heard of it, but I did really enjoy that. And it has Cynthia Erivo stars in it, and I didn't even recognize her because I've only really seen her as like Elphaba, you know, in recent years. But she did a great job, and it's Jason Bateman. He's like director and a star character in there. So really enjoyed that as well. And then lastly, I watched Sinners, a new movie, and also really enjoyed that one as well. It's got Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld. Is that how you say her name? Yeah, and music, again, music fantastic. It felt very like well paired with South of Midnight, we'll put it that way. Like kind of the music, the like deep South lore, kind of like the trauma of like slavery. It's set in like 1932, and like Jim Crow. And anyway, just like very good. Very good. I enjoyed it a lot. So that is what I have been up to. And then other than that, I've just been like incessantly watching what the Senate is up to day to day. Yeah, I can't begin to digest all of, express all of my thoughts, but thank you to my friends who have been listening to me rant and rave and have stitched with me and all that. So we carry on. We are crafting when we can and as we can, and also trying to do good things for our minds and our bodies. I've been enjoying the fall. You know, October was a fantastic month to be home for sure. And I had 2 visitors. My sister came for a weekend, and the following weekend a college friend came, and we went to her friend's baby shower, and you know, we're out and about, went to some bookstores. So like it was good. I was about like every weekend in a row. I guess I had something. That's true, because the first weekend I did the EGA thing with Chelsea, then my sister was here, then my friend was here, and then the last weekend I went to Cabin Cross Stitch, sorry. So it was a good month for sure. And yeah, just looking to see what is going on with my job. So yes, thank you for all your kind words and comments and thoughts, and yeah, that's all I know. And sorry for the ghost if you saw any. If you didn't, then I'm gonna feel even sillier that I waited this long. But so no guarantees on when I'm back next, because I don't know what's going on, man. But we're still crafting over here, and we're keeping our chins up. So wishing the best for all of you, and hope you got some good crafting done today. And I will hopefully see you in the next one. Thanks, everyone. Bye.